Hi guys, welcome back. It's been a minute since you've seen from me, and I know the camera's on temporarily. I don't do this very often. I don't know if I've ever done it. But this is me. This is who I am. If you're wondering what I've been doing the last couple of weeks, I've been watching this Darrell Brooks trial, which, needless to say, it's been a massive headache. The man constantly objects to things that are relevant. It's annoying. But I thought, if I'm going to do this, is there anything that maybe I could put out here for you guys to try to sew this really crazy trial together and stitch it together to show you who the people that testify on the stand versus the evidence that's been shown, kind of versus what he has said himself and his interrogation at the very beginning. So it's going to be today. I've decided to do like Shoegate. Um, you'll see in the videos I'm about to show you the where he tries to say that when he showed up to the young man's store that gave him the sandwich and allowed him to use his phone, that he showed up with his sliders on. He will say that they were Green Bay Packers sliders, which they weren't. They were Milwaukee something. I can't remember. You'll hear. But he's all over the place. Apparently, he had shoulder issues until he got they kept pushing him for answers. And then all of a sudden, he would forget about his shoulder injury at certain points and he's flailing his arms around. And then they kind of get him like back to the corner where they start asking him questions. And then he's like, oh, my shoulder. So it is what it is. It's like trying to distract. He's been doing it during the trial the whole time where he'll, again, at the very beginning it was about COVID, and then he got his test results back and he didn't even want to see him. He just set him on the desk, but he made this big deal about, oh, he's so scared he wasn't even going to put on civilian clothes. He came to court, if any of you watched this, the first few days in his orange jumpsuit, and he was like proclaiming it was because he wanted to wait for his test results back and trying to imply that this could be detrimental for him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna get to the parts of this video I think that are kind of curious. And guys, listen, I've been watching this thing day in and day out. I'm gonna try and put a few videos together. It's took up so much of my time. Why not? You know what I mean? So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed. If you do, let me know. You know what to do. This is YouTube. Yeah, appreciate you stopping by. And here we go. All right, I'm gonna cut this off so you don't have to look at my ugly mug anymore, and we'll get to it. All right, so here we go. This is the first one. This is the interrogation. Okay, this is when he was first brought in. Then I've got it to the point to where they start asking him about like why he showed up with no shoes on or whatever, and then he tries to say that he does. Da, 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 da. You'll hear it. Make sure I'm up here. Yeah, okay.
What's your buddy's name? Can we get that? If we gotta talk to him to verify you're on the up and up and she's on some BS?
His name is Marcus.
What's his last name?
I don't know his last name.
What his phone number?
467. Oh, wait, hope if I have my freaking phone somewhere. 467. 85, 31 or 30 or something like that.
1112?
Yes, sir.
And he lives in Milwaukee?
Yes, sir.
And you guys came out here together?
Yes.
Okay, so he has.
Well, like I said, Stephanie was.
Yours.
She's a older mixed lady, so she's not. She.
Who do you know in Waukesha other than her?
I know a guy named Terrion. I met
Terrion live.
I don't know where he lives now. I've been knowing him for maybe 5-6 years. I just know he's.
And if you're wondering, I'm kind of letting this play. I went back and forth. Do I play all this in the beginning where he's but it's kind of to show you, like, look at his arms. He's, using his hands and stuff. This will come in later to play some other probably videos that I'll do where he's sitting there just, talking like there's nothing wrong with him. Remember, he came in acting like he thought his shoulder was broke.
Stays in Waukesha. He comes down to Milwaukee a lot, and then he comes back.
And if you're wondering, it's this one right here, the right one that he just,
Up here, I don't.
This one,
How old is he?
I'm like 34, 35.
34. Where did?
Maybe.
Give me,
I know.
how many times
I know a
have you
lot
been
of.
to
I know a
his
lot
house?
of females.
Well, how many times have you been to Terrier's house?
Once in like 2018.
Do you remember?
It was like an apartment. It wasn't a house though.
Apartment?
Yeah.
Do you remember what was near it?
I think it was like right on the main street.
What's the main street? There's a lot of
Like-
streets. Like is
Whatever
it near
street-
downtown?
What would be considered downtown?
Where all the bars and restaurants and
It- it's
Like a
shops are.
business district.
let's see.
Bars and a
TD Quarter gas station. I think this street is like a one-way. Whatever street is right here is like a
If I get the
one-way.
part now. Let's show you. This is the part where he actually brings up the park. If you know anything about the Christmas parade, that's where they organize the floats and stuff. Was at this park, and he tries to act like, oh, there was something going on. I don't even know what it was. There was something happening.
Creeker. It was something going on out there yesterday to where a lot of shit was blocked off.
okay.
I don't like I said, I don't know about Waukesha, I don't know. But it seemed like everybody was at that park kind of walking around that creek.
Like a playground type park or like a
Like a park. It seemed like a little creek or something. Well, I don't know if you would say a creek. What would that be? But
River?
What that?
And see, people like this that lie a lot. I mean, they will get hung up on the details. They'll try and distract me. Like, I don't know if it's a creek or a stream or a river or a pond or this has nothing to do with like it's just deflecting. Now here we get into the part where he's talking about how he was found with no jacket, stuff like that on.
They found it. It was cold yesterday. You didn't have a jacket. Did you have a jacket with you?
I didn't initially have a jacket because, like I said, I was riding with somebody else. So I figured.
But you didn't bring one in anticipation of the cold?
I didn't because I figured
Now you notice that I was riding with somebody else.
I'm going from the house right to wherever we're going. So it wasn't like I'm finna hang out with y'all all night type of deal. We was just supposed to be watching the game, having a few cold ones, and then I was getting dropped back off home.
I remember he just said have a few cold ones. This will be dropped up. But it's just remember he says supposed to have his shoulder injury. He'll complain about it at some points. It's his longer. I don't normally do this, but I think it's important. I really want to try and get this interrogation video. I can't imagine how much this man. I can. What did I say that? I can. How much he lied. So it's all throughout these short clippets they show. But it's just watch his behavior, his demeanor. Remember what this man is, quote, alleged to do. I mean, listen, it's hard for me to say that word. I've been watching this whole trial. But like injured, what is it? I think at the last count was like some 70 people. He wound up taking the life of 6 people. And I think the man was like 81 years old that he was trying to help with the dancing grannies. The other 4 were part of the dancing grannies, and then an 8-year-old boy. Okay, this is his demeanor.
Happened, Darrell, where you ended up? So I know you say you're not familiar with the area. So
At all.
I'll lay this out for you.
At
So
all.
follow me for a minute. You say you're kind of near this park. I got an idea in my head of where you're talking, based on my knowledge of the city. It's right near Stephanie's where you're hanging around watching the game and Marcus is there. You came out here with your phone because you take it with you. How did you end up at this guy's house? Now you said when you walked away from Erica, did she go the other way?
I don't.
You walked away.
From what I remember, she just stood there.
Okay,
She was just standing there like.
Right.
Well,
So you
whatever.
walked away and it was over.
It was over.
It was over. How did you end up at a guy's house asking to use his phone, which is blocks away from Stephanie's? Okay,
And by the way, if you aren't watching this and you're curious to see those clips, they've been played in the trial as well, where he actually met up with the baby mama he's talking about, and then getting into it in the middle of the street and all that kind of stuff. They've played the clips of the CCTV or people's security cameras that kind of show the snippets of what happened in there and that as well.
I can tell you that based on my knowledge of the city, based on approximately where you're telling me it is. without your phone in your shoes. You understand where that's kind of weird? How did you get to be over there? What happened?
Yeah, what basically happened with that was when I got back over here by old girl house, I just say, because I don't really know Stephanie like that. It's my friend's friend or partner or whatever the case may be. They was getting into it about pretty much the same thing that I was getting into it with Erica about. I was just like, him,
Who's him?
Marcus, him, her, and whoever else, Stephanie.
Was there anyone else there other than
Yeah, at her house, yeah.
Okay.
A few girls that I didn't know, but they had already said it was gonna be people over here.
Okay. All right. So
Now, remember, to my knowledge, everything he's saying right here is complete fabrication. Number one, he did not ride into uh, Waukesha with Marcus. I think he goes on. He says it's like a tan Kia. We all know he drove that. His mother's had the vehicle. It was her Ford Escape. There's no this Stephanie. He cannot remember her last name or know where she lives. Like all this stuff, to my knowledge of watching this entire trial, everything he's saying in this room about why he's there, who he came with, place he went, all of it's bullshit. All of it. He met up with the woman that he wasn't even supposed to see. She was living in a like a woman's shelter because of the abusive nature of their relationship. He was out on bail, and that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I mean, this is just it's a lot.
I was pissed because I feel like I just met up with her, with my baby's mama. I just met up with her for absolutely nothing. You tell me, okay, you out here in Waukesha, I'm out here, let's meet up, I got your money, and then I walk over there and you don't have the money. Or you do or you don't, you just ain't gonna give it to me. However the case may be, so I'm just like, okay, whatever.
well, hold on.
So when I get back,
you're pissed, but
when I get back over there, I'm pissed.
okay.
They was getting into it, and he like, man, come on, bro, we just finna go. And I'm like, what the fuck going on? Like, I just got into it with it. Now y'all into it. He like, man, this bitch tripping, whatever, let's go. I'm like, nah. Nah. I'm like, I'm out, dog. And I just started walking.
I mean, all the listens on the flights. Like, is he making it on the spot? No. I'm like, what?
Wanted to leave?
He wanted to leave, but I don't know what the fuck he was on. Doobie, he probably didn't even get into it with old girl, but he out there like, man, let's just go, bro.
How long have you known Marcus?
I know Marcus for years.
Okay.
Now, this is where the detective, anybody in law enforcement had any training. I mean, just common sense. You don't even need training. Would tell you if you rode with your friend that you've known for years out to a town you don't live in to go to somebody's house you barely know and cannot remember where she lives, to go watch a game and they get into it and your friend wants to leave, you don't go, nah, he could be even lying. They probably didn't even fight. Like the amount of like this quicksand full of shit you have to walk through. There's not boots high enough to not get some of it on you. You know what I mean?
I'm going to be straight with you, because you've been asking me for that all along. That doesn't make sense. Listen to me, okay? Just listen to me.
You didn't hear he said it doesn't make sense. Some of these parts get low. I want to crank it up, but then when Darrell Brooks starts talking, he's pretty loud.
You go to this house. You leave. That wind was cold as hell.
Not at first.
Well, by the time it was getting later in the day, I mean, after the Packer game, you're talking 3:30, 4 o'clock, it was getting cold. I was outside for a while.
Yeah, it was about like 3:30, yeah.
By the time you're talking, it was getting cold. All right, Marcus is ready to leave because this bitch is being crazy. He's like, I'm out. You just went through the same experience from what you're telling us. You live in Milwaukee.
I don't know what exactly happened with him, though.
I mean, I told you to let me wait out. I know you don't know exactly what happened. But who are you going to trust more? Marcus, who you've known for years, or Stephanie? Why would you walk away, walk all the way down to where you did, leave your phone in the apartment apparently,
No, I didn't.
along with your
I didn't
sandals,
leave it. I didn't leave it.
and go down to where you were and not take the ride back to Milwaukee. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
Can you understand?
I don't know if he
why that
left and
doesn't
went
make
back to
sense.
Milwaukee though. I don't know if he did that.
But how are you going to get back if you don't get in the car?
I called an Uber. That's what I did.
So what happened? How did you get all the way to where you went? Because there's all these businesses in between where you were and where you got to. How did you end up at a random house without your shoes and your phone, Darrell?
This is what I'm saying. I had my flip-flops on. I had them.
Okay.
I just said that.
Where did they go?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if when they slammed me down, they just never, I don't know. I've knocked on 2 doors, not just the one.
So you had your flip-flops.
I had my Green Bay
at that
Packer
point.
flip-flops on, yes.
Green Bay Packer.
Now you see where these notes on the side have come from. I took some while watching the trial and some certain parts.
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't just walking around with no shoes. That didn't happen until after the fact. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
So I guess another question I would have for you is if you had your phone too, correct?
yeah,
Okay, you didn't leave it at the apartment.
no.
Stephanie's.
That's why I was telling you it should have been on the grass. Remember, I described the phone to you. I said it's black. It has a cracked screen.
Yep. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Why are you asking other people to use their phones? Why is that guy letting
My
you?
phone was dead.
Okay. When did it die?
I have no idea.
Okay.
And I didn't have a charger.
But you used it for the 3-way call.
And I used his phone for the 3-way call.
Okay.
Like I said, we got a mutual friend named Michelle. Me and Erica do. I've known Michelle just as long as I've known Erica. She was the one that was telling me what's going on with you and your baby mama. Y'all not talking because she trying to get in touch with you. I said, yeah, I know she probably trying to get in touch with me. Well, I'm finna merge y'all. That's how I end up talking to her and telling her I'll walk over and meet you to get the money or whatever, get you a hug, get you a kiss, whatever. I had my flip-flops on then. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't just, because the way he was making it seem like I was just running around with no shoes to begin with.
Right.
It's like, no.
I mean, it was pretty cold. You didn't have a jacket or a sweater.
Well, I didn't have a jacket to begin with.
Okay.
I didn't have a jacket to begin with, but I'm saying my shoes, I had flip-flops.
But you had a jacket before? Or
I
now?
never had a jacket.
Okay.
I had flip-flops. Green Bay Packer
Flip-flops, no
flip-flops.
jacket.
Right, because I didn't feel like I was going to be, like, I'm not going to be outside. Well, I'm thinking I'm not going to be outside. If I'm just going from a car to a house, there's no reason for me to have a coat on, or at least that's how I'm thinking. I always do that. That's just like if I had a car and I know I'm finna go somewhere and I'm like, I'm just going from here to here. Well, there's no reason for me to just get all bundled up and do all this and that. There's no reason for
Were
me.
there still a bunch of people out when you left? When you left her
It
house?
was still daytime.
Okay,
It
you
was
said
still
there were a bunch of
daytime.
people when you were talking to Erica. There were still a bunch of people when you left Stephanie's.
When I was no, I wasn't talking.
When you left Stephanie's,
It was still daytime.
it was still daytime?
Yes.
Okay. Were there still a lot of people out?
It was
Kinda like
still
yours?
people out.
Okay.
It was still people out. Not a lot in that area. By the park, it was a lot of people out. Like I said, it looked like something was, I don't know what the hell. But it was a lot of people out. And it was,
There was a lot of people. I mean, I don't know what was going on. It's not like I drove through there or anything. I mean, listen, this is a hard trial to watch because watching this dude try to defend himself and just he objects to every question. I don't know that judge. I've thought about even doing like a damn GoFundMe or some shit to raise enough money to send her for a massage session or something. I'm telling you, the amount of patience she has had during this trial, I don't think I could do it. It is so distracting, and how he's disrespectful to her. It is quite the sight.
like I said, it was people, it was older couples walking down the street, it was younger people walking down the street, people were,
And now remember, older couples. Yep, he mowed down 5 of them, and then the younger, that 8-year-old boy, he injured a dozen kids. I mean,
Like an event or something was going on?
I don't know, but it kind of seemed like it was a lot, like it was something going on to where it was vibrant, because there was a lot of people everywhere.
Walking
everywhere,
up and down the street.
Everywhere. Just people. That's what I'm saying, like, if I got into a fight with her right there, it would be impossible for somebody to not be like, hey, this guy's fighting this chick or whatever the case may be. Like, how could somebody not see something?
How long was it between leaving Stephanie's and those cops yelling at you at the door of that guy's house?
Was it dark when they yelled at you?
Yeah, by the time they came, it was dark.
Okay.
But we had been sitting out there. We had been sitting out there for a minute, me and the guy. We was sitting right there on the porch. We was just sitting there.
To find
I
how
remember that he said now him and this guy were just sitting there on the front porch, just sitting there shooting the shit.
long estimate?
And I
He's
paused it
sitting there.
right in that moment. He asked him how long. Now, let's see how long he's going to say they were just out there
Find
sitting
how
around.
long estimate?
Maybe 20, 30 minutes, maybe.
20 or 30 minutes.
It wasn't long, but it was long enough for, like I said, he let me use his phone. We sat on the porch. We were sitting right there, just like this, just sitting on the porch. While I called me an Uber. I called the Uber. I said, look, man, I let him know. I said, look, I ain't trying to rob you or nothing like that. Because when I knocked on the door, he kind of was like, whoa. I'm like, look, I don't got no weapons. I'm not trying to break in your house. I'm not trying to rob you. Nothing like that, dog. I just need to call an Uber. That's it. I'm not, he was just like, okay. I'll come out. Boom. I need an Uber to, what's your address? He told me the address. And we was just sitting there waiting. That's how I was going to get back home. I told him, I said, I got the money on my card. I'm not asking you for no money. I just need to use your phone. That's it. That was it. That was all. And then from there, we sat on the porch and just shot the shit out.
I'm saying, you told me last night he was cool with that. Like, he wasn't.
Yeah, it
he wasn't
wasn't
being weird. He was like, oh yeah, I'll help you out.
Yeah, we just sat there on the porch.
Right.
And he did ask me, he said, do you need a jacket? I said, no, I'm straight. Like, I'll be home as soon as the Uber come. I know it's probably going to.
Nice. Listen, and this is just how weird it is because he's like, the guy offers him a jacket. He says, no, I'm straight. That's even a lie. He put on a jacket the guy offered him. I'll maybe let this play for a couple more seconds, and I'm going to show you the testimony of the guy's house he showed up at.
It's going to cost me
With
probably like $40 to get from me. I'm guessing. I don't know, but probably. But I had enough on my card to where I knew I can get home, and that was the main thing. I'm like, I'm just going home. She can keep the money or whatever. I didn't even try to contact her further. I just was like, I'm gone. I'm calling this Uber and I'm going home. That's it.
Let me ask you this, Darrell. So you weren't out in Waukesha Saturday, just Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay. Nothing physical yesterday.
Okay, so we've heard that. Now, hold for... Okay, here we are. This is going to be the testimony of Daniel Ryder. He's actually the gentleman that Darrell Brooks showed up to his house. The famous, sandwich guy, the one where the police came to and apprehended Darrell Brooks. And so you'll get to hear... You just heard in that interrogation room about how he had all his shoes on, how he sat down on the porch with this guy for 20 or 30 minutes, shooting the shit, basically. But here, this is important. So this is from this guy's point of view, what happened, along with his ring footage and stuff.
With audio, please.
My ID! My ID!
And since I've watched this, I will tell you that this is towards the end of it. Make sure. Oh, we need to go back because that's towards the end. Let me get restructured here. I apologize. 1 second. Here we go. Okay, this is the beginning. You'll hear the testimony, and This it said was along with the ring footage of when Darrell Brooks walked up to his front porch. So I think we're good to go now, and he'll talk about kind of what happened. And you heard what Darrell Brooks had to say in his first, basically, police interview before we just showed
that day. Does this appear to accurately depict your front porch as it looked as that subject walked up to your door?
Yes.
And this is the video you sent to law enforcement that night, or sometime after that night?
Yes.
Move Exhibit 75 into evidence and ask to publish.
Objection.
Exhibit 75 has received permission to publish. Granted.
Objection.
It's noted. Overruled.
As we're waiting for that to pop up in the jury box on their screens, I'll ask you, Mr. Ryder, do you see a date and timestamp on the bottom right-hand corner of this video?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
I do.
Is that a timestamp that's a feature of Ring, or was that added after the fact?
Objection.
Overruled.
It's a feature of Ring. I didn't add that, yeah.
And to your knowledge, does that timestamp appear to be accurate?
Objection.
Overruled.
Speculative.
Get used to it. This has been my life for 2 weeks. Every damn question, objection. I mean, it is mind numbing. Okay.
Yes, that is accurate.
For the record, the objection was overruled.
This is a 20-second clip. I'm going to ask that we play it once with audio.
Hey, I called an Uber and I'm supposed to be waiting for it over here, but I don't know when it's coming. Can you call it for me, please? I'm homeless.
He didn't hear. He just said he was homeless too, by the way.
Can we pull that back up just to look at the timestamp one more time? Thank you. And just for those of us with not the greatest eyesight, would you mind reading that timestamp on the bottom right hand at the beginning of this exhibit?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yeah, it says November 21st, 2021, and the timestamp says 17:01, so 5:01 p.m.
Okay. The voice we heard in that exhibit that we just played, whose voice is that?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Objection.
You may answer, sir.
It's Mr. Brooks's voice?
It's not yours.
No.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask that Mr. Brooks please be instructed to remove his face mask momentarily.
Sir, would you please remove your face mask and face the witness?
Was that a question of...
The state's asked their...
But he argues everything. Just so you know, this better show it. Does it not show it in this one?
Sir, please remove your face mask and face the witness.
I'm confused. He made a statement about voice.
The question's been asked and answered. Please remove your mask.
What was the question?
Please remove your mask and face the witness.
Now, I want you to pay attention to something there because it comes into play later on. I've thought about even leading my videos with this. Watch him snarl his nose up at this dude. Does that, like, just watch. Anybody that knows that's been around anybody that's like it does intimidate you or like is, gets angry or whatever. Listen, this is my opinion. I've seen this shit before. Okay. Probably some of you have too. Watch his face he makes this kid. Watch him.
Mr. Ryder, do you
Right
see
there.
the person depicted in...
that snarl? I'm going to play it again because I'm going to tell you, he does it today and it is something to be seen.
Mr. Ryder, do you see the person depicted in exhibit number 75 in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you identify him for us by telling us where he's sitting and what he's wearing?
He's sitting at the table right there wearing a black suit and a gray striped tie.
And as the record reflect that the witness has identified Mr. Brooks.
The record will reflect that the witness has identified the defendant as the person depicted in this video and the person who was on his porch on November 21.
Objection. I don't consent to being called that name for the record.
Go ahead, your next question, please.
Thank you. What happened in the moments after this video, the 20 seconds that were captured?
So he was on my porch for, I don't know exactly, a minute maybe, and he was telling me the interaction, or he was telling me that he needed to use my phone to let his Uber know where to pick him up, and that he was homeless and cold, and he said he didn't have any weapons or anything on him, and he lifted his shirt real quick, and I was like, no, it's okay, you can use my phone, and I let him come inside and warm up. I just tend to believe people, and I'm from a small town, and we had people that need help all the time because we live right off a highway, so I'm used to, didn't faze me too much. I mean, I was nervous for sure, but I was like, yeah, I can use my phone, and he made it sound like the Uber was going to be here just any second, just needed to know where to pick him up. So I said, yeah, you can come and warm up while you wait for the Uber. And I let him sit on the couch right by the window out front. I said, you can look out here waiting for your Uber. And he's on the phone most of the time after that with his mom. And he's saying the address, 553 Elizabeth Street, is where it needs to come. And, how far away is it, kind of things like that. But
Okay.
I guess is that what you're wondering? Or
I'll just reflect back because it's a lot sometimes. So I'll just remind you whenever the police interview that I showed you in the beginning, he didn't say anything about calling his mom. He told those detectives that he's the one that called his Uber, that he's the one that had all the money on his card to pay for it. But he set this scenario that he's the one that called for his Uber. Okay, so this guy's testifying that he actually went in there and called his mother to get him apparently the Uber. So it just paid.
Let me back up.
Yeah.
You made a motion with your hands there regarding what Mr. Brooks said about not being armed. You do that again, just for anybody who missed it?
Objection. I don't know. Not consent to being called that name.
Go ahead and
Again, for the record.
yeah, so I don't remember exactly what the motion was. I remember him saying he didn't have any weapons and he's not dangerous. And I think he lifted his shirt really quickly. But then I was like, don't worry, I'm not worried about that. And so I didn't, it's not like I patted him down or anything like that. But.
Okay. Did you let him in the front door that would be right next to your video doorbell?
I actually,
Leading.
I can rephrase.
Go ahead, rephrase.
What door did you let Mr. Brooks into your home?
I let him in the back
I
door.
don't consent to being called that name.
Overruled. Go ahead, you may answer.
Yeah, the back door.
Okay. So he went around the side of the house to get to the back door?
That's right.
What happened when he got to the back door?
I don't remember exactly. I remember letting him in. Well, I remember, so I just got back hunting, so I asked him to go through the back door so I could make sure I didn't have any weapons laying around. And so after that was good, then I let him in the back door. Well, just to give me a second to make sure nothing was tempting or anything. But I let him in the back door, and I think I gave him a coat right away, and then gave him my phone, and then told him where to sit down. And when I told him to sit,
Now I can appreciate accents because I'm from the South, and he's got the Wisconsin accent. Well, I can't even do it. It was horrible. But he says he immediately gave him a coat right away. That's what he says there. Remember, in the police interview, he said that he was offered a coat. Just says, no, I'm good, whatever.
gave him my phone, and then and I think I gave him a coat right away, and then gave him my phone, and then told him where to sit down. And when I told him to sit in the spot, he didn't move or anything. He stayed right there and listened to me.
What else did you give him?
I gave him a sandwich because he said he was homeless, and I said, I can get you some slippers to put on your feet to warm your feet up. I never did end up giving him slippers. But yeah, so I gave him a jacket to wear while he was at my house. I gave him a spot to sit and wait for the Uber and a sandwich.
You testified earlier that he was on the phone with his mom. How do you know that?
Objection. Respectfully to you.
Overruled.
A few reasons. I heard him say mama a lot, and his mother called me, and I didn't answer, but his mom called and left a voicemail after the fact, confirming it.
Whose phone was he using while he was inside your house?
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled.
He was using my personal cell phone.
How would you describe his demeanor as he was inside your house?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
And now remember, the guy said he offered him a coat, and then you're going to see video evidence that he actually has the coat on. And then he said he offered him his slippers so he could warm his feet up, meaning he didn't have no shoes on.
I would say flustered, but also there were many times he was thanking me, and so he was grateful, and he even said, "Thank you so much for showing me love, man," and he was calling me bro, and so it wasn't, I guess that didn't make me feel like I was in any danger at the moment.
Did Mr. Brooks leave your home at some point?
Objection. I don't concede to being called that name.
Overruled. You may answer.
I'm sorry, I lost train of thought. Can you say it again?
Did he leave your home at some point?
Yeah, he left when I asked him to. So he was in my house for 8 or 9 minutes, and then I was standing on the front door looking outside because I was getting a little nervous because I thought the Uber would be there in a minute or two, not 10. And so after 8 or 9 minutes, I'm looking around outside and I see a police car drive by. And then I see another one coming down the street. And so I tell him, I say, "Hey, we don't get a lot of police traffic on this street, and I'm getting nervous, and this is just too weird of a situation. You're fine to wait for your Uber, but you need to do it outside of my house." And he was a little bit like, "Oh, no, it's okay, don't worry, man, don't worry." And I said, "No, you need to leave." And then he listened and got up, and I've got video footage of that, of me escorting him outside of my house. He's still on the phone, and he's still got my jacket on, but I just said, "You need to leave." Do you want me to say, I mean, do you want me to keep going? Or?
I just want you to answer my questions. So,
Okay, yeah.
let's pause there, though.
Sure.
And show for the witness only, please, exhibit number 77. We'll play a few seconds of this without any audio, and actually, to save time authenticating, Your Honor, I think we'll do this with the remaining 3 videos we have.
Go ahead. So this is 70.
77, yep.
77. All right, thank you.
Play a few seconds, please, without, yep, there we go. Okay, we played 4 seconds from exhibit 77. Do you recognize that clip?
I do.
And what is that?
It's Mr. Brooks walking out first with the jacket on, and me in a long sleeve shirt, a gray shirt, walking out behind him.
Can we show for the witness only, please, exhibit 78?
Go ahead.
We'll play the first couple of seconds of this one, too. Okay. We played the first 8 seconds of that. Did you recognize that clip?
Yes.
What does that show?
That shows Mr. Brooks after I had him leave and get my phone and jacket. He was outside, and then him asking to come back inside because he said he left his ID inside my house. And that was on the audio, but it sounded like he had the audio off for that.
And we'll show you 79 now without any audio as well, just for the witness. Okay. We played 8 seconds of exhibit 79. Do you recognize that video?
Yep.
What does it show?
And because I have seen this entire daggum trial up at this point, I tell you that he's trying to get back in his house, saying he's left his ID in there. Whenever he was apprehended by the police, he had his identification on him.
It shows an officer on my porch after the suspect was put into cuffs, asking if I knew who the suspect was.
Are exhibits 77, 78, and 79 accurate depictions of your porch that night?
Objection.
Yes.
Overruled. His answer may stand.
Move exhibits 77, 78, and 79 into evidence and ask to publish all 3, please.
Objection.
The objection is noted as to all 3. It is overruled. Exhibits 77, 78, and 79 are received permission to publish. All 3 are granted.
Okay, 77 is up now for everybody. It's a 21-second clip. We're going to play it once with audio, please.
Before you do that, can we just confirm it's in the jury box? Not yet. Okay. Let me know.
Along with your technical difficulties. I don't think he banked on people having so many ring cameras and security cameras
I
and
guess
all
while
that.
we're waiting, we can make use of this time. Mr. Ryder, could you read the time and date stamp for us on the bottom right-hand corner?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's November 21st, 2021, 17:10, so 5:10 p.m.
So again, the objection to being relevant, it's literally the date and time that it showed up on this person's front porch and then was asked to go back out on the front porch. Like, pretty damn relevant when you have the suspect on camera and you have a timestamp. It's just, this is what I mean by the constant objections to drag this out as long as possible, it feels.
Okay, we've got it up for the jurors. Let's play this once with audio.
Remember, he told the police the guy offered him a coat and he didn't take it. Well, there he is with it, wearing it. Remember, he showed up, he had on a red shirt. Now he's got on a coat. By the way, you can tell right there it's a sock. He ain't got no damn shoe on slider on. It's white.
Do you see yourself in that video?
Yes,
What are you wearing in the video?
a gray shirt.
Overruled.
A gray shirt.
Did you hear the wind in that video?
Yes.
What do you recall being said in that portion of the video?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
I'm walking Mr. Brooks outside of my house, and my neighbor.
And just so you're aware, I do this a lot. I love watching trials. I used to do it with my mother all the time. God rest her soul. And so whenever I say to you, this has been probably most just technicality wise with the constant objections, been probably one of the most difficult trials I've ever had to tried to watch in my life, with the constant objections that are so irrelevant. I mean, this dude's eyewitness testimony to what happened on his front porch, and he'll object and be like, irrelevant.
Neighbor Greg says, "Are you guys looking for that guy?" And I had no idea of anything at this point, and so I say, "I don't know. This might be him." You can hear that in the audio. I don't know if anybody was able to distinguish that, but that's what was said. And then Mr. Brooks says, "No, no, no." And then I say, "Can I have my phone, please?" And then after that, I say, "Can I have my jacket, please?"
Did he provide those items to you?
He did.
Okay. Can we put up for the jury, please, Exhibit 78? This is a 20-second clip. We will play it once with audio, please.
My ID! My ID!
Now there's the flashlights coming from the police that are currently out looking for the suspect that drove through the parade. And so he turns around and is like, my ID. Remember, when he is apprehended, his ID's on him. So in my opinion, it's just his attempt to try and get back into the house to hide from these officers. He was going to stick his hand back in his pocket right there, that right hand. By the way, here's a clear shot of his socks with no shoes on before the cops apprehend him. Before the cops get up on this porch, get near him, the student ain't got no shoes on. He can't even be honest about not having shoes. So but he puts his hand in his pocket and yeah, he's lucky after everything that happened that they didn't.
Mr. Ryder, what happened during that video clip?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Mr. Brooks, or I should say the suspect, came to my door, asked to come back inside to look for his ID. I said, "No, I'll look for it. You stay out there." And I was looking underneath the couch and everywhere that he sat for his ID when I hear the police officers saying, "Put your hands up." And
Did you ever find that person's ID?
no,
Did that person leave anything else inside of your house?
no,
Flip-flops?
No.
Sweatshirt?
nothing.
Objection, leading.
Sustained as to the form of the question. Please rephrase that last question.
What, if anything else, did that suspect leave in your house?
I don't.
Station lady.
Overruled. He may answer.
I didn't find anything left in my house.
Okay. Can we please show for the jury Exhibit 79? This is a 19-second clip. We will play it once with audio.
26, minor block with 126. Hey, do you know this guy? Absolutely not. Okay.
We've paused at 18 seconds. That's the police officer you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you, just for the record, read for us the time and date stamp on the bottom right-hand corner here at the 18-second mark of exhibit number 79?
Yeah, it's November 21st, 2021, and the time is 17:12 and 59 seconds, so 5:12 p.m.
Okay, now I'm going to show you where they were found. His slippers and the hoodie that he apparently ditched. But before we do that, I'm going to do this first. Remember, he said, "Oh, his shoulder was injured because when he was apprehended, he was slammed to the ground." Yeah, this is that. They didn't even touch him. He laid face down on the ground, and nobody put their hands on him.
Put your hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Do it now! Hey, taking one of the hospitals for a plan here. What did I do? Lay on your stomach. What did I do? Robert, where are you on to look? Give more right. You got something with your name on it, man?
By the way, there was a slam to the ground, folks, where his shoulder was injured. Somehow miraculously he lay gently down on his own, but his shoulder was...
Okay, lads, cooperate with us. Okay.
Paused at 1 minute and 4 seconds. What did we see in
That's the sandwich.
that portion of the video?
Okay.
That was a sandwich.
Where did that sandwich come from?
Station lady.
Overruled.
His right.
Okay, so there was his apprehension again. He said he was slammed to the ground. Okay, and this is getting kind of longer, so I'm gonna try it. But this is the actual officer where they did a sweep of trying to locate any items that Darrell Brooks had like left behind. This is the officer that actually found his sliders and the hoodie. So I'll just show you a little bit of that testimony and the actual pictures they took of where he ditched them.
The gray
Allegedly ditched them.
hoodie sweatshirt with the multicolored design or logo that I located.
In the playhouse.
Correct, in the playoffs.
Okay. Do you believe this is a true and accurate depiction as you observed the events? 6.
Right there it is. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm not requesting
Let me
permission.
well, this is the picture of this is the first slider. If you see right there, the blue and up next to the fence, it's the first one he found.
There's of 322 Maple Avenue, and the opposite side of the fence, which would be to the south of that, would be 434 Dunbar.
Okay. So even though the properties above, the street addresses are on different streets.
Yes, that is correct.
And 322 Maple, can you approximate for us the distance that is to the location where the red SUV was found?
Objection, speculative.
Overruled. The witness may answer. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to sustain it as to foundation. I think another question needs to be asked.
I can skip it.
Sir, I think you testified earlier that you set out to search the area around 338 Maple, correct?
So here's
Sure.
the other. There's the closer picture of that slider. You know, and then Here's the picture of where they found the other one and the hoodie.
Okay. And then we'll move on to 98, please. And those are the two items together in the top portion of the playhouse, is that right?
Yes, that is.
All right. Now I'm going to show you these physical items. Please, Deputy, if you would assist me again.
And so that's the guy that found them, right? Okay, so hang on. And just to give you a glimpse, if you've not seen any of this trial, how he treats this judge, how he acts in court.
I'm asking you and advising
Okay,
you.
thank you for correcting that, because don't nobody tell me what to do. I don't tell nobody else what to do.
I'd appreciate
We're all
if you lower
we're all
your tone
adults
of
in here.
voice
I've
and
never
not yell
told
at
you
me,
to do
sir.
anything at all.
Sir, I'd appreciate if your tone of voice would change.
I would appreciate if you would ask me. I'm a grown man with grown kids. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me like that. Nobody.
I'm
I
telling
don't
you.
have a problem with doing what you ask me to do, not tell me.
Reminder, he's incarcerated right now in jail, being told when he can eat, shower. He's held in solitary confinement for his own safety. And he's going to sit there and be like, nobody tells me what to do. Okay, then. He's in jail.
Just like when I asked you about subject matter jurisdiction that you have yet to prove on the record. But somehow I'm being intentionally disruptive. Come on, man. Stop. Just stop it.
Jury's coming out.
All rise for the jury.
Not gonna work.
He constantly mumbles crap under his breath. I mean, it's constant. It is
Scared getting removed or something.
painstaking. Watch this. I mean, it really is. And I'm gonna let this play. I want you to see the shift right here. This was disturbing to me, to say the least. Remind you when I told you to pay attention whenever he took his mask off to the guy that he showed up at his house and he did that thing where he snarled his nose. It's hard to see because he's got this mask on that he wears the whole time. He does it right here. Just the outburst that he just had with his judge. I want you to pay attention to the look he gives her and keeps on her. Doesn't bother to, like, just what? It's freaking disturbing. Right there. But she kind of looks at her. Right, but what? Then you stare, then he looks that way, and then he stares right back at her. And just keeps this, like, death stare on her. It doesn't blink. What? She's not blinking. How long this goes?
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated.
What? You never.
Statement continuous. Examination of this witness.
Look.
I believe we're on Exhibit 117.
Yes, we had 117.
Look at
Madam
this.
Clerk, would you please turn the display back on?
Never blinks. Look at him. There. Look. See right
Mr.
there. What he did
Johnson.
with- Remember when I showed you what he did with the other witness when he snarled his nose up here? If you watch, you can see him doing it underneath this mask. By the way, it's the Bible he's got sitting right here. Yeah, that's a prop. Look at how he's looking at her. Watch. Watch this thing right here. Does it right there? Does it again
Mr.
right
Johnson,
there?
were there
Let's
other
go
items?
one more time. Watch the center of his eyes where he does it. Does it?
Mr. Johnson, were there other items on the front passenger seat
Look at
besides the
him.
blue winter hat?
Objection leading.
Remind you that they cut the camera. Okay, he didn't stop. I don't know if he stopped or not. Yeah.
Overruled, the witness may answer.
Disturbing.
I do recall a cell phone being present on that front passenger seat.
Do you remember what kind of cell
We'll let
phone?
it cut back to him. We'll let it cut back to him because he's still death staring her. I've watched this whole damn trial. Okay, he is staring at the judge. He almost looks. It looks like he's looking at me if he's looking at the witness. So he is staring a hole to this judge.
An iPhone.
I also see some items that look like maybe headphones or charging cable, something like that. Do you see that, sir?
Objection leading.
Overruled, foundational. The witness may answer. The exhibits have previously been received.
Objection speculative.
Overruled.
I do see that.
Do you remember something like that on the front passenger seat?
Yes.
Okay. And how about on the floorboard of the front passenger seat? Is there an item there, sir?
Objection leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes.
What do you remember that item was?
A TV.
Okay. And to the left of the TV, the white colored object.
Now, mind you, how much time is
I don't
ticking
recall
by
what that
right
is.
now with this
Okay.
guy's question.
But this is the exact way the passenger seat looked when you recovered the vehicle, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Look at it.
Now, if we could please go to
Still death staring this judge. This sheriff's office employee is looking like more like where the witness would be if he were looking at the witness. He is death staring this judge still.
Exhibit 116 and put up for the witness only.
Look at him swaying back and forth. Did the thing again. Did you see him do the thing again? It was more pronounced then, where he like does that snarl thing with his freaking nose. Watch him right there. You want to know how
Sir, do you see exhibit
what this guy looked like when he drove through that parade and injured all those dozens of people, ended the life of several of them? This dude right here.
116 in front of you?
I do.
Flipping.
Do you recognize this photograph?
When I saw that today, it flipping. I'm not kidding you, man. I was like, holy, there he is. There he is. Been trying to hide it with his outburst and stuff, all this other stuff he has. That right there he is right there. Now I'm going to go back and play some more of this police interview to show you that dude.
I told you, you're a part in the investigation. There's a lot of parts, right? To any investigation, there's people we talk. Well, this domestic abuse thing I'm telling you about, right? Okay.
So wait.
Hold on. Let me
Okay.
go. I'm sorry.
I just had a question, but
You talked about being a religious man, right?
Yeah.
I could do better.
God.
I could definitely do better.
We all could.
I'm not.
We all could.
No,
That's
that's
why.
Yesterday was a mistake. I should have just freaking watched the game and just fucking went home.
Right.
Because
And that's the thing. What do they teach us in Christianity, Darrell? That they teach us that we're broken, right? We're sinners. Even when we're born sinners. We're broken. That's why
Psalm 51.
And why are they bringing this up? Because he talks about, I'm a religion. He's like, he's bringing his Bible into daggum court every day. And every time he does, all I can think about is that 8-year-old little boy and those grandmas and that grandpa.
so
17.
thankful for God's grace and forgiveness, right? When we ask for it. Even though we don't deserve it.
And get to the
But
point
when we
where they
ask
kind
for
of
it,
call
we
him
get
out on his
it.
BS.
Right? You're a father. You got 3 children.
So this is where they start confronting him with the fact that they know he's full of shit. And again, remember, this is like the day after all this stuff happened. So here you go.
If I fact check that Darrell's not telling me the truth. You don't have a car, so Marcus had to bring you out. You don't own a car, your mom doesn't own a car, right? So Marcus had to bring you out. So why did we find you with a
Remember, he's not shaking his head and denying it. He's telling these cops that he doesn't have a car, his mama doesn't have a car,
So Marcus had to bring you out. So why did we find you with a car key in your pocket?
It wasn't in my pocket. I don't even know where they said that was laying on the ground.
That's yours.
a lie.
Yeah. It should have been by my ID.
Yeah, it's yours. It's your car key, okay? Because it goes to a Ford Escape in your mom's name covered in Waukesha. Okay. Listen, Darrell. I'm trying to be as open and honest with you as I can be. I'm Christian too, and believe me, I'm not perfect. And neither are you. And I'm not calling you a terrible man. I'm not saying you were out yesterday hunting, and just let me finish. But you did not walk to that house. You did not walk to that house. You did not come here in a tan Kia. You didn't.
And who?
You did not come out here in a tan Kia. Okay? You've got a key in your pocket to a car in your mom's name. Okay? And that key works for that car. For the love of God, Marcus. For yourself, for your family. You know what happened yesterday. For the people. Tell me what happened.
Well, what?
With the car.
What am I being
With your
investigated
mom's
for?
car. You were driving goofy, people called you in, you drove out of there in your mom's car, the red car, you were driving a little silly, probably because you're pissed. You met up with Erica in the car at the park. Now initially I believe you told us the gas station, do I have that right? And then you changed it to the park. So that's an
No, I said the house was by the gas station. When you said what was by.
You said you went
Landmark.
and it was by a gas station, that's where you met her.
No.
In your mom's car. A red Ford Escape. She got in, you talked, and what you're telling me seems pretty consistent, that there was nothing physical between the two of you.
No.
But you met her in the car.
I didn't put my hands on her or nothing.
But you met her in the car.
Tim, what's going on, man?
Asking you a question.
You
were out there
just
driving
tell me
kind of
what's going
crazy.
on,
Some
man.
people said you were driving kind of crazy. We got reports of it. You got the key, you got the car. Did you take the car or did your mom give you the car? I know you know what car I'm talking about.
I just want to know. So
Some people
Now,
reported,
listen,
you had all those
okay,
people
no,
out
no,
there,
no,
they
no, no.
reported that
No.
car driving a bit erratic.
I know what you're saying. All I'm saying is this. We all been straight up with each other. You knew it was more to what you was asking me yesterday.
Didn't know
That
for
would
sure.
explain the FBI and all that, right?
They're not here today. So if it's that big a deal, you don't see them here today.
Come on, Kurt. Hey, we been
You guys met in the car, in the park.
we been cool, man, the whole time. If I did something
Yeah.
wrong,
That's why they were
serious-
here. But do you see them here today? They're not here today.
Yeah, but y'all lied to me, man. You made it seem like
You see, it's just looking. He has the nerve to look at them and be like, "Y'all lied to me." Remember, he showed up in their town. He told them with another dude. It's made up in a car that's made up. Like, I mean, like, listen, we don't want to compare who's been obfuscating, who's been straight up to me.
they
I'm
just
watching
come
this
for no
damn
reason.
thing.
Well, here's the thing, Darrell.
And I'm like, what
And
if
listen
it's
to me for a minute.
I apologize.
I can give you a clean slate here.
I apologize.
Because you have lied to us as well. Because you came out here in the red Ford Escape. Okay, that is what you came out here in. You had the key. Alright? So, what I want to do is try to give us all a chance to reset. You understand what I'm saying? Start over. Because you're not giving us an accurate story. You didn't ride out with Marcus in a tan car. You said your mom doesn't have a car. I've just told you we've disproven that. All right? I don't know what kind of woman she is. I don't know what y'all been through. But you were seen in the car driving kind of acting a fool. Okay?
Remember, I told you this whole time to watch, pay attention to how his arms were flailing around and how he's been acting this whole time, and now he's getting cornered with some facts. Right?
In basically the same area that you've already been able to describe to me. I'm just trying to figure out how and why it happened. What made you tear out of there? What made you so mad where you're like, fuck it, and you raced on out of there? And then people call, man, this guy's, he's driving around here kind of fast.
All I want to know, like I said, y'all been cool with me. Am I charged with anything? That's all I want to know. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Right now,
Listen. I was
you were driving a bit
so,
reckless.
listen,
Might
I
be an
was so,
OWI.
listen. No, I don't drink.
You said you had a couple cold ones during the game.
No, yeah, but I'm saying the hard.
See now how he changes things. He's already told them they went to his. The first lie was that he went with his friend over to watch the Packers game and had drink a few beers. Now he just sits there and says he doesn't drink. So when they call him out on that lie, well, wait a minute. I meant hard liquor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what happens when you lie. It's hard to keep up.
Alcohol, not my thing. I was not drunk. When you get the
And Detective, can you explain what was occurring here during this clip?
The objection's noted, it's overruled. Go ahead, you may answer.
So in this clip here, my goal and intentions were with Mr. Brooks to start getting into the details of him driving the red Ford Escape through the parade route, and to begin confronting him with information about the Ford Escape key that had been found in his pocket. Obviously, to this point, Mr. Brooks had told us his mother didn't have a vehicle that she let him use. He didn't know if she had one at all. The vehicle was in his name.
So is it his name?
I'm sorry, in his mother's name, Mrs. Woods, Dawn Woods. He'd stated he didn't have a vehicle at all.
Objection, lady.
The previous objection, it's noted, it's overruled. The witness may continue.
He had made statements.
And I can tell you, I can relate. I'm from a very small town here in the middle of a smack dab, almost, well, kind of more to the east, but small town Tennessee. You can feel the animosity towards him of the people that come on the stand. I mean, they either knew each other, or their kids hung out, or their grandparents knew the niece of the daughter of. I mean, that's how small towns work. Okay, you don't have to know everybody to kind of know their family, or know that they're decent people. Most small town people are really good people. And hey, unbeknownst to what they try and shove out there in the mainstream media, we don't give a flying F what your race is. None of that shit. Again, I don't care what color your skin is, as long as you're a good damn person. And I just say that because down here in the South, everybody that does not live around here will say some of the most egregious shit about where I'm from. And I've lived here my whole life and never seen it. Okay. But that these people, how many people who was injured during all this, somebody knows somebody of somebody, and you can feel it on the stand. You can even see it in his eyes when he looks over at him, kind of like he's probably the one that had to talk to a lot of these families and stuff. I mean, it's just palpable.
Earlier in the interview, he didn't have a vehicle at all that he had ridden out in the Kia, which is not true. The investigation showed Mr. Brooks came out here in the red Ford Escape by himself, so he was in fact in possession of a vehicle. He was in fact driving a vehicle. In regards to the area, it should be known that Mr. Brooks's description of the park, Frame Park, is the park where people in the parade, wherever they might have been, lined up. They were lining up at Frame Park. Frame Park is a park that has a body of water, as Mr. Brooks described, more specifically the Fox River running through it. So he was able to describe that park. There were people everywhere walking up and down the street, just as he said. Streets were closed off via barricades, via marked squad cars, via police tape. So he was able to describe that, and the way he described the area was exactly almost how the area looked with the parade. It was extremely crowded due to the people marching in the parade. It was in fact shown to be daylight when Mr. Brooks met with Miss Patterson and then departed from Miss Patterson. That is something we learned, and I was able to confirm that based on how he described it. Furthermore, he describes and he gives the impression, Mr. Brooks does, that, well, if I was in a domestic, someone would have seen it. Someone would have seen it because there were all the people there, and there were, but it's not necessarily going to be seen as easily as Mr. Brooks was trying to lead me to believe, because it took place inside of the vehicle. Mr. Brooks did not walk to the park to meet Miss Patterson. That was proven as evidence in this investigation. He drove there and met up with her in Dawn Woods' red Ford Escape, which is the same vehicle after departing the park, drove along Main Street in Waukesha through the parade route.
The key found in the defendant's pocket, did that operate the red Ford Escape that was eventually located that was registered to Dawn with?
Objection. That's been answered numerous times.
Overruled, the witness may answer.
There's never any depiction of a key being found in the defendant's pocket.
The objection is noted. It's overruled. The witness may answer.
Yes, it did. And, as we discussed the key more, you can even hear in there that Mr. Brooks acknowledges it should have been near his ID.
And was his ID also found in his pocket? Do you know?
Objection.
Yes, it was.
Leading.
Please wait till I rule on the objection. Sustained as to the form of the question. I'll strike the last answer. Please rephrase.
Where was his ID found?
In his pocket.
And the information you had, where was the key found?
Objection leading.
Overruled.
Objections hearsay.
Overruled.
Like, look, objection leading, objection hearsay. I mean, it is torture. I will have to do a short video whenever this all first started, and whenever the whole COVID thing came up, and how he was acting like it was going to be the end of his life, and then he gets his test results and don't even bother to open them up and look at them. I mean, that was like, holy hell.
The witness may answer.
The key was found in his pocket.
Yeah, how do you know that?
Now, you also talked to Mr. Brooks about his phone. Where did he say his phone was?
According to Mr. Brooks, at this point, the phone should have been near him. I believe he said in the grass.
And what did you take that to mean? It should have been near him in the grass.
Objection. That was never stated.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
I would interpret it as right next to him, where he was arrested.
Okay, that's what it's just where he was arrested?
Yes.
Objection leading.
Overruled. The answer may be given.
Yes.
After the defendant met with Erica Patterson, what did he describe his emotion as being? The homeowner whose house he was arrested at.
Objection.
It was like 20 to 30 minutes.
The witness may answer.
I believe it was like 20 to 30 minutes.
Appropriate shirt to be wearing for 20 to 30 minutes. Now I'll direct your attention to the video. I'd like to play 1 hour, 30 seconds.
Did not touch her.
Right, so what had you so mad? Because you had your mom's car. Or I don't know if you use it. Who uses it? You got the key in the car. Is it hers? Is it yours that she lets you use? Let's clean that part up. Whose car is it?
It's my mom's car.
Okay. How often do you drive it?
Not very much.
It's the red Ford Escape?
It's all I want to know. Please. Just please. Whatever you can't tell me, I understand. I understand. All I want to know, just so I can have a peace of mind, just for my girls, man. What am I looking at?
And again, remember, he brings up now his kids, and this man does not bother to see. He tried to say in this interrogation they live with him. He has custody of them. They live in completely different states than he does. I think one's in Georgia and the other, I think, believes in Ohio. I could have the Ohio, but I'm sure about the Georgia one and Ohio. And it's not seen his kids in I don't know how long. But in this, he says they live with him. Just so we're all clear. Now,
Well,
I'm
the
going
fact you
to fast forward to something curious also that happened during this. He starts talking about his shoulder. His shoulder's bothering. He starts getting questioned more and more, and here comes the shoulder thing.
Kind of racing around up and down the street. That's the first part.
Like, why should I cooperate when there's no cooperation with
Even though we're giving your property to somebody else.
Wait a minute.
Now this is where they're confronting him, see, and trying to.
So that sounds like y'all got my phone.
If we find it. I didn't say we had it, I said if we find it.
Now,
I got my
watch.
phone.
Now watch. Now he starts watching with his arm.
If we find it. I didn't say we had it, I said if we find it.
This is 7.
Alright, so in that direction? Okay. Alright, so this way down? Okay. No, I don't know if they have it now, but if we find it, you don't have it, so it I would think be in somewhere in the area of that house.
And the video stopped at 1 hour 54 minutes.
Objection leading.
Overruled.
In this clip, there's a couple things. First, obviously, the conversation with Mr. Brooks at this point has gotten into the parade issue, the driving issue, which is a little bit more serious. I noted that for the first time in a long time, he began bringing up pain in his shoulder again, something he hadn't been doing for quite some time up to that point. It seemed and felt deceptive, as if it was perhaps a stalling tactic. The other issue became, in the context, was the phone. So the phone that we ultimately recovered from Mr. Brooks, one was an Apple iPhone. That is the code I was specifically requesting from Mr. Brooks at this point. We have forensic analysts who download electronic devices. Those could be DVR systems, computers, but most often was that Apple iPhone numeric or facial recognition.
That's 30. And it is starting at 2:02:30.
For me to look forward to, but it's like this woman, man, and I love her to death, man. I want her to be my wife, man, but I just wish somebody could tell her that. Like, I wish somebody could really tell her, like, man, this dude loves you, man. Why are you doing this to this guy, man?
Now we're turning it back on the woman that he's been on and off with for, like, from what I can tell, over a decade. And I wish somebody just tell her I love her. Like, forget the people he's that involved in this parade accident. You know, I mean, we're back to this. Me,
Literally wants to marry you. 16 years, man, off and on. I'm not gonna go mess with nobody else, man. That's the person that I want to be with, but I'm not gonna continue to be the scapegoat because you want to drink. And when you know I don't, you making it seem like I just beat up on you. Like I'm just like you're a punching bag or something. I don't wake up and be like, oh, bitch, I'm gonna hit you. Well, I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. It's like almost like I'm demonized here. Like,
I'm not saying you're a demon.
No, not you, not y'all saying that. But it's just, I feel that way because
you're trying to just.
So look.
I know you heard
with
that.
The arm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we'll go with the arm.
Oh, that fucking hurt.
Sure.
I know you heard that.
I heard it. It's in check.
We're gonna go check with them. Maybe they'll listen to us a little bit better.
Fuck.
You want us to check?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, give us a minute.
Here we go.
What we got?
Dude, it gotta. How?
You think this isn't an act? Keep watching.
It gotta be something wrong, then. How in the hell is it?
Sometimes sprains will pop too.
Yeah, but why is it hurting like this and they say there's nothing? Dude.
Because sprains can actually be more painful than a break.
Whatever they did, it hurt so bad.
Whatever they did. Remember, they slammed him on the ground. You saw the video. He laid down on the ground his damn self.
Mm-hmm. You want to keep the food? Why don't you keep the food and the soda and we'll be back?
So what? What's this? Door shuts. Latches. Looks over to the door. Takes hand off. Immediately tries to look at their notes. Figure out what's in the notes. Watch. There goes the arm that he was just acting like was killing him. Now he's going to turn the phone. He's going to take this arm right here, which push himself up off the chair to get closer. You know, it's dying, right? Tries to pick the phone up, see if he can use it. Like, is this just an idiot? Now watch. Tries to hurry up and hang it up. Oh no! Oh, hands back to my face. Oh, died over here. Yeah. I mean, did he not know there was a camera in the room?
I think we got that Tylenol. We'll be right with you.
Look, now we're back to, you're back. I didn't know.
And the clip ended at
I
2:05.
mean, that spells it. Look, Mr. Object to every single question is like, knows what just happened in that clip. Look.
5:45. Can you describe for the jury what you saw here?
Yes, ma'am. So, what I noted is that.
Well, he don't have to tell you. You all saw it. You can see, Mr. Brooks has his face buried in his paperwork. He ain't got nothing to say right now. No, I don't hear no objections coming across because he knows what just happened. Okay, this is long enough. That's kind of the gist of the shoe gate. What happened with the shoes? He didn't have shoes. I had shoes. Didn't have shoes. I had shoes. When he was arrested, whenever when they first incarcerated him, they did take his ID off of him, by the way. And so, there's that. But yeah, this has been a freaking crazy train of a trial. It just, again, how he talks to that judge and the way he looked at her today, that was disturbing. All right, if you like this, let me know. There's so many parts of this trial that I could do this with. But it is crazy. It is crazy. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with me. Until the next time, have a good one, guys.